1. The pangolin. The pangolin is a timid, lonely creature with scales formed of keratin, the same substance that makes up human fingernails, covering it from head to toe. Their name, pangolin, is derived from the Malay word pungulin, which means roller, and alludes to the pangolin's propensity to ball up as a form of defense. Pangolins have tongues that are 40 centimeters long and have extremely sticky saliva, which they use to catch ants and termites, eating up to 70 million of each per year. This reduces the quantity of insects in their habitats. With their strong, pointed claws, pangolins can also dig for insects, making holes that other animals can utilize to disperse nutrients and aerate the soil. Pangolins are also referred to as scaly anteaters because of their eating and looks, and they were once believed to be connected to both anteaters and armadillos. They actually have a closer kinship with the family Carnivora, which also contains dogs, cats, and bears. Each pangolin species' IUCN conservation status varies from vulnerable to critically endangered. Pangolins from China, the Philippines, and Sunda are all thought to be critically endangered due to overhunting, trafficking, and habitat destruction. Indian pangolins, tree pangolins, and huge ground pangolins are all listed as endangered species. Human agriculture disturbs their natural habitats, and they are traded for their scales and skin. Both temminks and long-tailed pangolins are categorized as vulnerable. They are impacted by human agriculture, highways, trafficking, hunting, and harsh weather brought on by climate change. 2. The Seneca white deer. The Seneca white deer herd is unknown, even to some of the most avid shooters and deer aficionados. This particular herd of deer stands out in the world because of its stunning white coat. To find out everything there is to know about this enigmatic herd, continue reading. We'll discover the past of the Seneca white deer herd, as well as the current condition of this unusual herd in upstate New York. We'll also look into the biological influences that led to the emergence of this largely white deer herd. The history of the Seneca white deer herd dates back to 1941. Unintentionally, humans contributed to the development of this special breed of deer. Seneca Army Depot in Seneca County, New York, surrounded 10,600 acres to form a complex in 1941, and ever since then, we have watched the growth of this herd there. A deer population was contained within the compound by a fence, keeping it apart from other deer in the neighborhood. The 24-mile-long barrier was tall enough to prevent the deer inside the enclosure from jumping over it. The deer population of the compound was limited at first, but has certainly increased enormously since then. Recessive genes that result in all white coats were present in a few of the original deer on the property. White coats proliferated in this deer herd as inbreeding became widespread. As time went on, the white coat genes grew stronger and stronger. Contrary to popular belief, there are no albino deer in the Seneca white deer herd. The white coat that is so prevalent in this herd is caused by leucism rather than albinism, and the white deer in the Seneca herd are leucistic deer. 3. The elephant shrew. In and around Kenya's Arabuko-Sokoke National Park, Mombasa, the northern coastal regions are home to the golden-rumped elephant shrew. It gets its name from the prominent golden fur on its hindquarters, unusual golden coloring on its rump, and grizzled gold forehead standing out against its dark reddish-brown color. The forelegs of the golden-rumped elephant shrew are shorter and less developed than the large, muscular hind legs. This species shares the large, flexible snout that gives its genus its name with other elephant shrew species. With the exception of the last third, which is white with a black tip, its tail is mostly black. On youngsters, remnants of the checkerboard pattern observed on giant elephant shrews like the checkered elephant shrew can be seen in the fur. The fragmented forest ecosystem and anthropogenic influences play a big role in the golden-rumped elephant shrew's status as an endangered species. In Kenya's Arabuko-Sokoke forest, they are most prevalent. They are susceptible to being caught in traps, but are not sought after as a food source due to their unpleasant flavor. Early in the 1990s, trappers were thought to catch about 3,000 of them per year. Since then, forest patrols have reduced the amount of trapping, although there are still some locations where trappers are free to operate. Although the Arabuko-Sokoke forest and other woods in Kenya, where the shrews reside, have the designation of national monuments, which forbids any further development, it does not specifically offer protection for biodiversity or the shrews. Although many are protected due to their small populations, it is anticipated that their numbers will continue to drop as a result of stochastic events and additional anthropogenic stresses. 4. The tiliga. One of the rarest species on the globe is the tiliger. In actuality, this artificial cross between a liger and a tiger is hardly ever seen. One can be found in Oroville, California, and there are between 6 and 10 of them worldwide. The species, unlike other Dr. Moreau-like crossbreeds, doesn't typically have the health issues of their hybrid contemporaries, suggesting there is a chance of their population growing, even though they are typically considerably larger than the ordinary tiger cub. 5. The northern hairy-nosed wombat, hairy-nosed northern. The largest of the 3 wombat species found in Australia, wombats can reach a length of a metre and weigh up to 30 kilograms. Their large nose, pointed ears, soft greyish hair, and subtle black eye patches give them a distinctive appearance. They create extensive burrow networks by digging with their large claws and powerful muscular forelimbs. The northern hairy-nosed wombat has an average lifespan of 30 years and spends most of its time underground. At night, it comes out to eat on grasses and sedges. In ideal breeding conditions, females reproduce once every 2 years, giving birth to a single joey that develops for 9-10 months in the pouch. When there is a drought, breeding decreases. Hairy-nosed northern wombats are only found in 2 areas in Queensland. With an estimated 300 individuals, Epping Forest National Park is home to the only remaining wild population. In 2009, a second colony was founded at the Richard Underwood Nature Refuge in southern Queensland, close to the community of St George. The Queensland government leased 130 hectares of private land to create the sanctuary. It is encircled by a fence that keeps foxes and cats out while keeping dingoes and wild dogs out. At this location, there are reportedly 15 wombats. 6. The Sumatran rhino. The Sumatran rhino is the only Asian rhino with 2 horns, making it not only the smallest rhino species surviving today. These animals once coexisted peacefully in tropical rainforests with populations of tigers, orangutans, and Sumatran elephants, all of which are now threatened with extinction. They used to live in Myanmar, Thailand, and possibly even Vietnam and China, but currently they can only be found on the Indonesian islands of Sumatra and Borneo. Keep an eye out for anything furry if you happen to be there and want to see one. These threatened species resemble the extinct woolly rhino more than any other living species and are truly coated in long hair. 7. The African forest elephant. One of only 2 species of African elephants is the African forest elephant. These creatures are regarded as critically endangered due to a population reduction of almost 86% over the previous 31 years, according to estimates. Just 25% of these species' former range is still present now, while the main causes of this fall in numbers are poaching, habitat loss, and habitat fragmentation. Land use changes have also had a role. 8. The Malayan tiger. The Malayan tiger inhabits the center and southern regions of the Malay Peninsula, as its name suggests. In addition to being among the rarest cats on Earth, these creatures also represent one of the tiniest tiger species in existence, weighing only about 250 pounds. Sadly, illicit poaching, local populations' demand for body parts, and the continuous destruction of their natural environment have virtually wiped out the wild species. Less than 150 members of the species are still alive today. 9. The Yangtze finless porpoise. The finless porpoise and the Baiji dolphin were once found in the Yangtze River, the longest river in Asia. However, the Baiji dolphin became extinct in 2006 as a result of anthropogenic environmental changes. Its sibling, the finless porpoise, is renowned for having a mischievous smile and gorilla-like intelligence. Sadly, the finless porpoise population is rapidly becoming extinct, much like the Baiji dolphin, which the World Wildlife Federation, WWF, has classified as a critically endangered species. There were 1,000 of them left as of 2013, though it's believed that number has dropped since then. 10. The Hainan gibbon. The rarest ape on Earth is the Hainan gibbon. In the 1950s, scientists were able to identify roughly 2,000 of these creatures, but today there are only 35 left in the world. On China's Hainan Island, there is just one natural preserve where the remnant population can be located. 11. The vaquita. The vaquita, the rarest marine mammal in the world, was only found in 1958 and has since been driven to the brink of extinction. This porpoise is easily identified by its enormous grey fins and the dark ring that surrounds its eyes, yet it will swim away rapidly if approached. The vaquitas population has been reduced to just 30 individuals due to drownings in nets used by illegal fishing operations in the Gulf of California, and it appears likely that they will become extinct before most people get the chance to witness one. 12. The saola. One of the most uncommon huge creatures on Earth is the saola. It is the lone member of a genus of bovids, and science has just recently become aware of it. Adults are 80–100 kilograms in weight, with long, gently curved horns and a remarkable pattern of white markings on the head, distinguishing both genders. The oryx, an antelope native to Africa and the Arabian Peninsula, inspired the genus name. However, the saola's closest living relatives are wild cattle and buffaloes. Only Laos and Vietnam, along their shared border in the Annamite Mountains, are home to this stunning species. It lives alone in a dense primary forest. Saola, which refers to an animal whose horns are comparable in size and shape to the paired support posts of regional spinning wheels used by villages in its range, is known as spinning wheel posts in Lao. Saola is known to us primarily through information given by local villagers, but also from a number of capture trap photos. A few brief captives remains in villages, particularly the animal's magnificent horns, and a few other sources. The saola is by far the largest terrestrial animal of its kind that a biologist has never observed in the wild. In the 21st century, it is still a mystery. 13. The Amur leopard. The Amur leopard is uncommon among its type, in that it lives in the Russian Far East, rather than the savannah. The Amur is a true marvel of nature, with exceptionally warm fur and a top speed of 37 miles per hour. Despite having a lifespan of 10 to 15 years, the Amur is incredibly rare, with the WWF now only counting roughly 84 of them. 14. Hector's dolphins. Hector's dolphin is not only the world's smallest and rarest marine mammal. These unusual dolphins, with small husky bodies and peculiar face features, can only be found in the waters of New Zealand's North Island. The species population is currently estimated to be around 7,000 people, with certain subspecies having populations as tiny as 55. 15. The Borneo pygmy elephant. The Borneo pygmy elephant has large ears and a tail that is excessively long for its body and frequently drags on the ground behind it. It is renowned as being the gentlest of its Asian elephant kin. Despite being small and adorable, Borneo pygmy elephants are among the most endangered species in the world due to poaching and deforestation, with a current population of only 1,500.